for iPhone, when I enter the password, it just says access denied.
Oh, you mean you downloaded the app?
Yeah, I downloaded the app, and the root is the login as root, and then the password is Red Hat, but it doesn't recognize it. It says access denied.
No, I mean, what is the? You have to put in the IP address. You put in the correct IP address, right?
The one that you sent us,
Yeah.
771.57.95. Yeah.
And what is? So you have what? What are you logging in as? No, use your username and ID I gave you, password.
Oh, the other one. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Let me.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could connect remotely, and then wherever you are, you could
Is there
practice.
an app for like that you can use because I'm not allowed to take my phone at work, but I have a laptop?
Well, yeah. If you could do it laptop, yeah, go ahead and download Putty on your laptop, and then you
It's
could
it's
connect.
a 32-bit, so it doesn't let me download the virtual box.
Is that your work laptop?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, work laptop, they may have restrictions on it.
I think it doesn't. It just says it doesn't support 32-bit system does not support that virtual box. Maybe there is another version that is that I could download or something. I don't know.
Well,
Or if there is an app like the one that you gave us for iPhone, if there's an app that we could download on our
no,
laptop.
this is what it is. So what you have to do is on your work laptop, you on, is it running Windows 10?
Yeah,
Okay, so go to this PC and right click and go into properties.
I don't have that laptop on me right now. It
No,
stays at
I'm just
work.
saying you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And then go in and take a look here. It says system type,
Hmm.
64-bit operating system.
It's a 32-bit operating system.
Are you serious? I mean, is it so? It's a work laptop and they're using 32-bit.
Yeah.
How is that possible? I mean, more. I mean, when I was working Windows, they exited the 32-bit about 10 years
Um,
ago, or starting to phase out 32-bit.
I mean, I didn't really check, but I'm assuming since it just gives me the error message, I'm assuming it's probably 32-bit. Well, I'll go and check on Monday then.
Yeah, make sure whatever 32 or 64, then put in Google VirtualBox 32-bit or 64-bit. So if you do like VirtualBox, the one you tried to
32-bit.
install didn't work, right?
I'm sorry.
The one from the website you tried to install, it didn't work from here,
No, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. The links that you sent, it didn't work.
but it's working on your home laptop.
My home PC, yeah. Desktop.
Yeah, I prefer desktop anyway. So oh, it's so here. So you have to click Windows Host, and it's actually automatically downloading 64-bit, right?
Mhm.
Here, if you're looking for the latest 5.2, still need a 32-bit host. So you have to go on a version back, 5.2. But you know what? I could help you offline here, and maybe you could do that.
Okay, that's
But if
fine.
it's a work laptop, more than likely it's locked. And you logging in with your own ID, or you logging in as an administrator,
No,
or what?
it's just like a common laptop that pretty much anybody can use, but there are like three people. The other two have their own laptop, and I pretty much use that one. But it's not assigned to me. It's just a floating laptop that anybody can use.
Yeah. Well, if not, you could just have putty there and then connect directly to
I
the
was able to
assignment.
download Putty and FileZilla and everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll try it again on Monday. Let's see what happens.
Okay. All right. So if somebody is not hearing me good or there is static, let me know. I assume everything good. Sorry about last week. I had to upgrade. There was some Comcast issue in the area, so then I also upgraded my service, so it's good now. So let's continue. What we're gonna do now is so the next command I'm gonna talk about. Let me make sure I'm recording, which I am. Yeah, the recording is on. So the next command is ln. So this command is used for uh, creating the links. Okay. So this command is used for creating links. Okay, and there are two types of links. One is hard link and the second one is soft link. Okay, also known as symbolic link. And all there are two ways, symlink, symbolic link, simp link, or soft link. They all mean the same. And hard link is a hard link. Okay, and uh, what else? Okay, so the hard link has the same inode number. So the hard link has the same inode number. It has the same inode number. Okay, and the soft link has a different inode number. Okay, and okay, so let's take a look here. And for the folders, uh, for the directories, hard link is not allowed. So hard link is not allowed for the directories. Okay, and so the file has hard link and soft link. So soft link is symbolic link, symlink, and has different inode. And soft link is allowed for the directories. Okay, so let's take a look here. So I'm going to create a file. I don't have any file here. So I'm going to create a file, touch file 1. And I'm going to do stat file 1, okay? And you see in here, you see the inode number is there and there is a link. It says it got one link here. So any single directory or file, it has its own link. Everything has its own link. So if there is actually no link, but it's one it itself is a link. Okay, it start off with one link, and then if you add more links, then it will have more links. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a folder here, folder 1, and then in there I'm going to create a hard link for the file 1. So let's see here. So how do I create a link? ln, and you have to give the absolute path for you to create the link. So what is the absolute path for the file here? So absolute path for the file 1 would be ln slash root slash file 1. And then I'm going to create the link into the folder 1. So what would be the absolute path? Root folder 1. Okay. And then I'm going to give, I could give any other name to it actually. Let me give it a name x file 1 and hit enter. So if I do stat file 1, it is saying now we have 2 files with this file 1. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into cd folder. I could do stat from here, right? Folder 1 x file 1. And if I give the same stat here, look at this here. It says it has 2 links, but look at the inode number. Inode number is also a fingerprint for this file, and they both have same exact inode numbers. Okay, so what does it mean? That means that this hard link is a duplicate of each other. Okay. So let me see here. Stat file 1.
Okay, for some reason, when you did the last step, I did the same thing and it's telling me it's not a directory.
Yeah, make sure you create a directory, folder 1, mkdir folder 1. Did you
Yeah, I did that already. I did I did MKDIR for the one already.
and where is the error coming?
When I did the ln slash root slash file one slash root slash folder one slash x file one, then
Yeah,
they returned
did you give a space there?
between where
Okay, right here you type lin
space.
space, and then you have to give the absolute path for file 1.
Okay, which is what I did, but I didn't put a space after the first file one.
Yeah, it changes everything.
Okay, so that's probably where the error is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have I'm gonna go step back even further here. So when I did stat 1, the link was only one link, right? Then what I did was I created the link here, into another folder, and then when I do the stat, it has 2 links now. Okay, now if I'm doing the stat on the X file which I created somewhere else, and if I may put it here, So I'm getting rid of the extra information here. Okay, when you are practicing it, you should know what you're doing. And see, even though this is a X file, the name is different, the fingerprints is same. The inode is a fingerprint. Okay. So now, what I'm gonna do is, um, any changes to either files, it will be updated on either side. Hard link is essentially a duplicate copy. And you can also use this as a backup file. Okay, so I'll show you later in the course here where you could create two links between the two different computers, and then if something changes, it will automatically get updated somewhere else. Okay, that is more advanced when we're doing the engineering part. So let's mess around with file 1 here. I'm going to do cat file 1. Everybody is very familiar with cat command, right? Most of the time the cat command is, you're going to use this for reading the file. That's what you're going to do it most of the time. So I'm going to do ls-l. I'm going to do ls-l. Okay. So what I'm going to do is ls-l. Okay, guys, what is this command going to do? Let me clear the screen here. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Okay, anyway. I did ls-l, and I did the greater than sign, and I did folder slash file 1. What happened here? Anybody?
Was it just reading whatever was in folder 1, X file 1?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It did that. But what happened to the output?
It's empty.
No, when I did a single greater than sign, I'm writing that output to the X file 1. Okay, this is redirector here, guys. This is going to come very handy. You need to know what the redirector is. There are 3 kinds of redirectors. Okay, so there are 3 kind. One, standard input, standard output, and the errors. So if I do regular ls-l, what happened? I see this output here. It's on the screen here, right? Now with this command, what happened? The output went into this X file 1 here. So if I cat that file, the output should be in here, right? You agree? So if I do cat folder 1 X file, you see the output in there. Now since X file is a hard link for file 1, what is there going to be in file 1? File 1 should have the same information. Okay, let me see if I could find good. You know what? I think I'm confusing you guys here. So let me clear this. Okay. I'm going to go into file 1 and hit enter. Okay, there is nothing in that file here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some text in it. This is file 1. This is hard link to X file 1 in folder 1. Okay, so I do cat file 1. I have some text in here. Okay, now I'm going to cat the folder 1 X file in here. So what do you guys expect in here? What would be the content in the file X file 1? Come on, spell it out. You guys know it.
Is it gonna be what you just put inside of it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what it's going to be. That's it. So, there you go. Why? Because these both are hard links. So, if you update one side, the other side gets updated. It's like a copy. So, what I'm saying, hard link is essentially a duplicate copy. Any changes to either files, it will be updated on either side. Both sides gonna get updated. I could find any good graphics here. So let me do my own here. So here what I have is so I have file 1 and then I have file 2, right? So what is happening here is both files are duplicate of each other. Okay, so if you update file 1, okay, if you update file 1, uh, X file will get updated. Okay, and then um, if you update it's X file 1, right? Yeah. Okay, so if you do this, this will get updated. And you guys get the idea. If you do the update on the other side, this gets updated. Okay, it's not too much of a rocket science here. It's simple. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it in here. X file one. Okay, that's it. I hope that is gonna help you. So let me get. Okay, so let's move forward. Who's calling me?
Oh, so before you proceed, can you tell me what's that command again to get me back to root localhost from the regular from the other screen? Is it command? Is it control? I can't remember the control command for it.
Control
I'm sorry.
T.
Say that again.
You said control T. Is that what it is?
To cancel
No.
the command.
Yeah, no. To get me back to the command line.
Or are you stuck in that hyphen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do Control C.
Control C. Okay. No, control C is not getting me out of it.
Okay, yeah. Give me TV. I want to see what you're doing there.
Okay, sir.
You're okay.
Let me get on my team viewer. Okay, my ID is 469
Okay.
209 209 539, and the password is 133.
Okay. It gave me the error message. Hold on. Can you're gonna have to update the team viewer. Okay, go in here, go into help, and then you should have a check for new version or something. It should be pretty quick.
Okay. Okay, it's installing the update now.
Yeah, well, I'll wait for you a minute or so because it goes really fast. Actually, I'm gonna put on hold here. I'll be back in a minute here. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, it's done updating. Whenever I guess whenever you're back.
Okay, I'm back. So it's updated now, right?
Yes, sir. It's updated now. So,
Yeah, give me the password.
okay, the password is WU8
Number 8,
uh-huh K
K
52.
52. WQ number 8.
No, no, WU as an umbrella,
Okay.
8 K
Okay.
52.
52. Okay, I'm in. And okay, so let me see your screen. Okay, so no, actually hit the escape key. Uh-oh, I got disconnected. Why? Okay, hold on. Let me try it for somewhere else. WU8. Can you read the password again?
K
Uh-huh.
52.
52.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here exit. Okay. And then you did okay, good. You're good. So yeah, actually you're good. You don't have to do anything extra. But if you want to add some more lines in here, you guys have to practice the VI editor here. Okay, I put that down in there. So go ahead and type something in there and hit escape shift colon. That means you're updating this file. And yeah, if you're done, push escape shift colon, then put X as in Xerox. Enter. Okay, now go to cat, then cat the folder. Cat folder one. No, yeah, okay, yeah. Slash file. Sorry, X file, I think. Yeah. Push the tab key, it will auto complete for you. Yeah, there you go. Enter. See? You edited file 1, but the changes you could see it in X file 1, okay? Alright, so this is what the hard link is. Hard link is you could use it as a backup also. Okay, so let's move forward here. So I think we already saw the information about hard link. And then let's talk about the soft link. So I'm gonna clear the screen. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a soft link for file 1. Okay, so how do you create a soft link? ln hyphen s. Okay, when you use hyphen s, that means it's a soft link. And the source name of the file. Okay, but again you have to give the um, slash root slash file one, and then, okay, I'm typing it wrong. Okay, and then you have to give the root folder one, and then you have to give the new name. Okay, so what you're gonna do is s file one. Okay, so the soft link is created. If you do ls-l, in fact, you could see where this link is pointing towards. Okay, soft link specifically shows you in color, and it also shows you like a direct uh, hyphen greater than sign. That mean, don't get confused with this here. It's just showing you like an arrow here where this file is connected to. Okay, it may be a little bit overwhelming, but don't worry too much about this. As you progress, you will know what this is, and you it will be not that difficult here. Okay, so but at this moment you have to know, or I have to tell you what soft link and hard link is. So what I'm going to do is let's take a look at the stats. Okay, if I do stat file one, okay, so I have two files here. It got two links. Okay, so the reason you have two links is the soft link has its own inode number. So look at the inode number here. This inode number is 97, whatever this number is. Okay, so let's take a look at the inode number for soft link. So I'm going to do ls-l s file 1. Actually, I'm going to have to do stat. Okay, and look at the inode number here. The inode number for soft link and the real number which is already connected to the uh, real file is got different inode numbers here. Oh, in fact, over here it says it's a symbolic link. That means it's a soft link. Okay, so and let me copy this. So it's telling you it's a symbolic link and the inode number is different. So if I read symbolic link, what will happen? It should have the same data. Okay, if I do cat folder 1 s file, it has the same data in it. Okay, so most of the time the soft link is used for only for reading the data. Most of the time um, symlink has different inode. Okay, so let's try to edit it and see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna go this is soft link edit. I'm gonna save and exit. And if I cat the original file, so the data should be there. Okay, good. Now what I'm gonna do is uh, cat. Okay, so now let's worry about the directories here. Okay, let me clear the screen. And in fact, what I'll do is if I do ls here, I'm going to get rid of the original file, file1, okay? rm -rf file1. So when I did this, what happened here is, so what did I say about the hard link? What will happen to the hard link? For the hard link X file, it will become an independent file. If you do stat X file 1, apparently it will keep the inode number, but the file will survive. Okay, if I do cat X file, the data is already there. So the if the original file is deleted, the hard link file still survives. Okay, if the on this one, on this side here, everybody with me, right? um, the soft link file is useless. Okay, so if I do cat s file 1, okay, so if I do that, it says no such file or directory. Okay, so let me, okay, so it becomes independent. So hard link file survives, right? Okay, so you will get a ticket that says all of a sudden the system was able to read a file and that file is not being read. So what you have to do is you have to go and run the stat command here. So what you do is stat x file, and you see it says it's a regular file here. Okay, we are worried about the s file here, so let's see s file. So it says here is symbolic file here, right? Then what you might want to do is ls-l and hit enter and look for the symbolic file here. And when you have in color here like this, that means the file link is broken. Link is broken, that means the original file is not there anymore and this file is useless here. So at least you have some good information here that you could go into this folder and take a look if the file is still there. If you do ls-l, you could definitely see there is a missing file here. File 1 is not in here, okay? Then you could further troubleshoot it or restore it from the backup. All right, I'm gonna give a minute pause here. Please, if you don't understand, speak up now because it's gonna create problem later on. Okay?
It looks like everybody understands everything
Yeah. How is
except
the
for
assignment coming along, guys? Let me know if, actually, I want you guys to use the chat and help each other out here. The more you do it, the easier it gets, believe me. I'm telling you, getting a Linux job is easier than a Windows admin job. All you have to do is just practice it a little bit. It's not a rocket science. Starting today, we're gonna take a break here, right? At 3:30, we'll take a break for 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes because 3 hours is too long for me, and I had
right.
already one class already in the morning. So let's take a 10-minute break at 3:30, okay?
Okay.
So now let's move on to the directories here. Okay, it is essential part here. So you could see here the idea behind this links are to reduce the footprint of the operating system. Okay, so if you have if you have a same exact file and then you want to use it somewhere else, why do you want to use up the disk space? Why can't you just use the files or use the file as a link and then read that file from there? Okay, so for example, don't worry about this command now. So look at this here. Our operating system is using only 1.3 gigabit of the disk space. If when we started off, if we could have given like about 1 2, we gave here about 16 GB, right? This will work even if it's only 4 GB. If the size here is 16 GB, if it's as little as 4 GB, no problem. The operating system works here. And whatever we installed here, that's all it needs for a Linux to work because it will save the footprint. Look at this footprint here is only 1.3 GB. And I think for Windows, if you want to have install Windows, because it has so many graphics and all, Um, so if you, okay, yeah, he Windows operating system. So I'm gonna say Windows OS, and then I'm gonna create here, and in here, look, see, it is automatically taking about 32 GB. When we when VirtualBox, when we're installing Linux, it's taking automatically, it's taking 8 GB, I think. Yeah. So Windows has a bigger footprint. So the smaller the footprint, the faster the system would be. So that's why you have so many things that are linked to each other. So you will see later on, maybe a month from now, you will understand how this is all working. Okay. So let's move on to the folders, and let me see. So let's create another folder here, uh, mkdir. um, I'm going to give the folder name directory 1, dir1. Okay, now we have two folders here, dir1 and folder 1. So let's make a hard link for a folder. So I'm gonna do ln is the command /root/dir1, and then I'm going to create that into the folder 1, and then I'm going to give it any other name, xdir1, and then hit enter. Okay, so the hard link for the folder is not allowed. Okay, that's all to it. That's it. There is nothing else to it. Okay, on the other hand, you could definitely create the soft link for the folders. -s, and you hit enter, and the soft link is created. So if you do this here, the soft link is there. And let's see here. So here I'm going to put down, you have to provide absolute path for source and destination. Okay, same thing with here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into folder one. Okay, and then I'm gonna do ls-l d or stat xdir. So let's see here. This one is saying it has two links in here, and inode is this. And then let's take a look at the inode on the original file. Stat. Uh, the what is the link for that? Okay, so for the folder here, you see the inodes are, say you got a same exact inode here. Why is that? So the reason it has the same exact inode is the folder is also considered, a single folder is also considered a symbolic link. I mean, I don't want to get you confused here. Did I ever mention that a file is a file and a folder is also a file? Right? I think I mentioned that one time. Okay, so here a file is a file and directory is called folders. But for Linux, a file and a directory is also a file. It doesn't matter how what you tell me about it. For Linux, a file is a file and a directory is also a file. That's how the operating system works in Linux. So based on that, the folder is nothing but just a soft link in itself. So a soft link for a folder is also a soft link, and it's giving you a same ID here. Inode number is same. The fingerprint is same exact fingerprint. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here. If I do LSF and L, you see here the folder xdir is a soft link for this directory. Okay, I'm not putting you guys too much information here, but when you take a look here, this means you are in a different folder. You're not in a home directory. If you type cd here and if you see just a tilde here, that means you are in a home directory for that user.
So on my own part, you see where yours is a root file and is in red, and the other one is a root directly and is in blue. mine has both of them on red. Does that mean I've unlinked the root directory, or why is it showing a different color?
How do you have your foreground? Your foreground is like mine too. These colors,
Which
that this text.
yeah, no, it's different. Yeah, it says 00400. Change 20 10 19, but mine was changed 10 19 instead of 10 24.
1019. This one.
Yeah, that's the on no, not that one. That one, let me see. That one, yeah, all those are showing October 19th for mine.
Apparently, you're living in past. I think you do date. Type date and hit enter. Tell me what is the time.
Ah, yeah. For some reason, my date is showing October 19th, which I don't understand why. Because my system date is 10/24.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll fix the time and all those. Time is very important in Linux. Okay. I tell you why. Look here. Look here. Like how detailed the time is going here. Time here. Access time is uh, what is this? It's showing you a date and the time and seconds, and look at the milliseconds. The millisecond is going how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, it's going all the way down to billionth of a second. Okay, all this is gonna be important. um, so when you're launching like a space rocket or something, all this matters. Okay, all these things matters. Stock market, all these things matters. Nuclear submarines and all those, they're all running Linux. All these things matter to them. Okay, but it will fix date here. Date is very important. If you go on to the job and you look at the date and look date is messed up, you better speak up here because date is very important. It will be all the applications and well, it won't be long before somebody figure out the date problem. But I'm telling you on top of my head that date is very important in Linux here and anywhere else too. I think in Windows environment, date is important. Okay. Anyway, so let's move forward here. So your question is solved here. Does this look exactly the same? Because this one is a broken link and this one is not.
Okay, I guess what I have is two broken links then, because the second one, mine is still showing a broken link as well.
Is it
For
is
the
it
root,
highlighted like this?
yes, sir. For my root and directory, it's still showing a broken link.
So did you delete dir1?
No, I don't think I didn't delete it at all because I didn't do any delete command. So I'm not sure why. Um, it's because I created it when you created it as well, but it's still mine at this point is showing. That one is also highlighted as red. So I'm looking at my history right now, and I don't see anywhere where I deleted it.
Okay. Don't worry about it now. Here, so I'm gonna put some content into the original directory. I'm gonna say touch F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. I have it here, and let me go into folder 1. So I have a XDIR, right? If I go into XDIR, okay, and if I do ls here, so it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same content of the original directory. Okay, so let me go ahead and delete ls-l. I'm going to delete dir1, rm-rf, dir1, orm. So dir1 is gone. So let me go back to the directory here. So I'm going to go to cd folder 1 ls. If I do ls-l, so the link is broken here. So if I try to go into xdir1, I won't be able to do that. No such file or directory. Because the original file and directory is gone. I mean, original directory is gone. So you can't do that. Okay, so I think I should copy this too. Okay, that's it. All the major commands, the basic commands you ever need to know is all done. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into the new arena and we'll start the directory structure here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this document and then put the commands as a new document here. Okay, so you should see it in here. You should see it in here as a new menu here under topics. Okay, all right. So there are more commands coming in, but these are the basic ones. You don't have to worry about other ones. You could just look it up here, but these are the basic. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the directory structure, what they means, and then from there we'll move on. Okay, so we're going to talk about all these directories here. Okay, so we all know that the root is the parent directory, right? So all the way on the top, this is the root here. This is actually an upside down tree. So if you do pwd, you are in slash root. Okay, if you do cd slash root, and you see here that the directory will tell you which directory you are in. We are in slash directory. And if you do ls here, you have all these directories here, bin, dev, and all this. And if you look on top here, all these directories are matching here, right? These are the directories which are second in here. The very first one is top in here, and then these are the branching directories. Okay, so these directories are actually branching out. So we are talking about these directories here now. So let's talk about it. Okay, good. So these are the directories here, and then these are the same thing. Or if I
Can
do ls
uh,
hyphen l, yeah, go ahead.
so why is it showing all of those directories that we then create, like bin, dev?
Yeah, that is an operating system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
System directories.
yeah. We were just fooling around in our own own directory here. Now we're going a step further, and I mean, actually, let's see here. So these are all the directories here. Let's talk about it, each of them. So this is just informational here. At this moment, we're not doing anything with it right now. So okay, so we are in, you know what, let me, so you are in here, okay, so this is informational here, but let me talk about all these directories here, starting from the top directories. Okay, so slash root, only slash, not root, is also, this is a root directory. Okay, and it is a topmost directory. Okay, if you try to go furthermore, if you try to go even on top of that directory, there is nothing else in there. You're going to fall off in the ocean. That's it, nothing else. Okay, and after that, everything slash starts with bin, not bin. Everything absolute directory is slash, and then the name of the whatever directory we're going to deal with. So you all know, right? When we are using the absolute path here, earlier we used the absolute path here, right? Absolute path starts from the slash, then root. Everybody, don't ignore the slash. Here, if you're looking at here, right? It has a slash in there. Here it's a slash. It means something. That means that's where the operating system is starting. You cannot ignore that. Okay, so now this directory contains all the binary user commands. So for example, we install tree, right? And if we type which tree, it goes into the user slash bin. Okay, so user slash bin is over here. So it is going into user slash bin, and in fact is going into the directory bin, because if you do ls-l bin, not that, ls-ld bin. Okay, so this directory user slash bin is the main directory for bin. So for now, we'll just worry about it contains all the binary user commands. Okay, because within user, it's going into bin directory. And then slash boot. Right after that, we have boot directory, right? Yeah, bin boot. So what is boot directory going to do? It contains, I'm going to stop here. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes. Okay? Break starts now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So slash boot. So it contains the system bootable files. So we're gonna go in here when we're gonna do the system initialization. So all these files are necessary when the system is booting up, okay? So for example, so what is happening here is all these files has some meaning for the system when it's booting up. It's one thing, there are like several things happening, right? For example, if I turn this system on, and what will happen is the system is going through a bunch of activity. There's a lot of there's a lot of activity going on in the background. Okay, so what is actually happening is a system is reading one file, and after that it's passing on information to other. See, all this thing is happening, and all these things happen like very quickly. Okay, so some of that information is being read from this location here. Okay, if you delete or if you mess up something here, in fact, I want you all to go in here and delete stuff and then see what happens here. Okay, so system will be in a serious problem. So I'm not worried about that now. So all those things are sitting in the boot directory. Okay, and then the next one is dev, right? /dev. So what does dev contains? So dev contains is all the system device information. So what are the devices? So these are the physical hardware, like hard drives. Okay, all these things you see in here. You go in here, hard drive, optical drive, network adapter, the processor, accelerator, the CPUs and all that. Okay, hard drives. You know what, we'll come back to this here. Just it contains all the attached device information. Okay, and then the next one is etc, I think. Okay, etc folder. Okay, the system has the configuration files. Every system has a configuration file, so all the configuration file sits in here. Okay, so this etc folder is also known as etc. Okay, short for etc. If one of your colleague is talking about I cannot find something in etc folder, that means he is referring to etc folder. Okay, and then /home. So this will be the directory for the home users. I mean, this directory is for the regular users. Okay, so for the root user, the landing directory is pwd, right? For the regular users who is not root, the landing directory would be this home directory. So for example, if I connect to the if I connect to the assignment folder, so I have an assignment folder, right? If I'm connecting to an assignment folder, assignment server, and if I'm connecting as a user, and so if I clear it, if I do pwd here, so this will be your home directory, and inside that, whatever your user ID, a folder will be created. Let's go in here, cd home. And if I do ls here, what should I find here? I find all the name of the users here, right? These are all the users who are, I created the ID for everybody. So these are all the users, and this becomes their own home directory. So if I try to go into a directory as a regular user into somebody else's home directory, I won't be able to do it except root. So I'm going to exit out of here. Okay, and next is okay, so the next is lib, and okay, so there are two directories, a lib and lib64. Okay, so they both have the system binary files in there. Okay, so let's see here what it means. /lib and /lib64. It contains system library files. Shared by application. Okay, and /media. Okay, for now it's unused. I think they should get rid of this /media. /mnt. So /mnt is usually empty, but you could use this to mount. The physical drives here. We'll learn what is mounting and all that a little bit later, okay? But used for CD drives, hard drives, etc. Okay. Then I have is OPT and PROC. /OPT. So what does OPT contains? It contains third-party application, example is Oracle DB. So if you install some major application, this is all that application go and sit in here, okay? SAP, if you install SAP, it goes and sit in here. Postgres. Postgres database, etc. Okay, and the proc is the memory information here. So if you see, look at this folder here, it contains the active memory information. Example, system processes and other stuff. So if I'm looking at top command here, all this information is sitting in the proc folder. Okay, if the power goes off, the proc folder goes empty. Cat proc partitions. Okay, so cd proc. All this information right now is sitting in the memory right now. I mean, the system has a lot of things going on. It's beyond anybody's imagination, and all those things are sitting in there and running in the background or being on standby. Okay, so if you look at memory here, we are barely doing anything, but still the 139 is being used. Well, I'm not worried about that. We'll come back to this later when we're doing troubleshooting, okay? So that's what the proc is. It has an active memory information there. Okay, and root is /root is the root user home directory. Okay, I think we talked about this much here. And if you do ls, so we did boot root. Okay, and then what else we have here? It was used to be run also, right? Yeah. Well, let's look at, there used to be run directory also. You may or may not see. Unused. Alright, that's nothing then. And then let's talk about /sbin. So what does admin? It contains root user commands. So if you go into sbin and if you do ls here, so some of these commands are being used by root. Where is that favorite ls? Okay, so the ls is not the root user specific command, so it's not here, I think. Or it may be in here possibly. Okay, so these are all the commands here, guys. I mean, I'm not teaching you each and everything, but there are a lot of things. I'm teaching a lot, but not everything. Okay, let's move forward. And what do we have here? Okay, sys/sys is not used. Okay, and the temporary folder tmp/tmp is a temporary folder. Okay. So if you're working with the application team, if you go into cd/temp, there's some system generated files there, right? So let me get rid of this. So most of the time the temporary folder is empty, or if you're working with the application team, it sits in there. So if you get a request like some application team or some other team like network or storage team, they need some information about the system. So all those team has access to the system, but they don't have root access, right? So what you do is, if they are asking for the file, you copy that file into the temporary folder and you tell them that I copied that file to the temporary folder. Okay, you don't have to email them. They could log into the system and they could see in the temporary folder. Okay, so that way it's kind of security thing. Like if they have a legitimate login access ID, then they get to see the information. If they don't, then they can't. Okay, the next is var. In fact, this the var is it contains all the system logs. And logs generated by software. So if you go into /var, so they most of the time there is a folder called log in here. This folder is used most compared to any other thing. See, other folders are not that active here. And look at the log, it's active as of it's pretty active compared to other folders because it has a date stamp on it. And this is the place where it logs the system messages, var log messages and all that. That doesn't mean it's the only place, but anything which is related to the logs, the error messages, the system activity, all those things are being recorded. It goes into var log messages. I'm sorry, var log folder. Okay, and did I miss anything? User, right? USR. /USR. So if you go into /USR, so you see some of these things in here, right? Like etc and all this. The USR folder contains a backup of some very important system files or folders. Okay, right now it's empty. So usually that's what it's used for. Older commands, optional commands. Actually, it's used to keep some optional commands here. If we do, if I do, ls hyphen cd bin okay, see, we installed one optional command here, right? Tree, it was not part of a system, so it went and sat in here. Okay, yeah, don't worry too much about it. I'm not using it every day, so. Okay, that's about it for this system information, which has the directory structure. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Let's talk about some information history about Linux. Brief history about Unix. Okay, so so what happened was the Linux OS is coming from Unix. Okay, and it's all coming from AT&T. Okay, AT&T, they develop Unix. They have Bell Labs, and they released OS called Unix. Okay, for their internal use. They developed, I think. Yeah, developed. By the way, you don't hear about AT&T and all that, but I think even the C programming is developed by AT&T. Nowadays, you don't hear about AT&T as much, but I think uh, in old days, like AT&T C programming, right? Okay, see Bell Labs. Here, Bell Labs, I mean, oh, okay. They got bought out, I think, by Nokia. But they have a profound impact on uh, technology. C programming. This is the most dominating programming ever, and they are the one who came up with, I think. Still being used C programming. All the applications, all these, I mean, not all of them, but the base real code application is done by in C programming, I think. So what happened in 1969? They released the operating system on December 31st, 1969. Okay, and it was used for internal use. And soon what happened? They thought the operating system is no good, okay? So they thought the operating system is no good and can't use or make profit. Okay, so what they did was they in 1987 they released the source code. Released the source code to Open Software Alliance. Okay, so they they said, okay, we don't know how to use it, so we are just making it free for everybody. So what happened? All the big companies, what they do is they jumped and they took the source code, and IBM, they created AIX. I think everybody should have heard about AIX. So IBM took the Unix and created AIX. It's called IBM Unix, and it uses IBM hardware. So if you want to use AIX, you have to buy the hardware from IBM. It costs millions of dollars. Okay. Same thing with HP. They name it HPUX, and it uses HP hardware. Some of the very big corporations, they're using this actually. IBM, AIX, HPUX, and Sun Solaris. Sun Microsystem, they took this and they named it Solaris. Okay, and it uses Sun platform. I think Sun is borrowed by Oracle, but I'm not sure. Then what happened? The source code was still floating around in 1991. This guy named Linus Torvalds took the source code and created a Linux. And it's free. So he changed around a little bit and released the operating system. This is what's happening here. So far, the big corporation, they were using Unix, but they were stuck with their hardware here, okay? Up until 1991, this guy, he took it and he made it some incredible changes, and he made it actually a hardware independent. Okay, so you could take the Linux operating system and literally could install on any hardware. It will work just fine. Free for anybody. And anybody can take Linux source code. Now it's the Linux source code now, not Unix code anymore. It has still Unix. Okay, some of the commands, they are still coming from Unix. You cannot change it. But the source code, he made it a Linux source code. So if you could take your own, you could take this code and you could actually download the code. I'll show you where to do it. And you could create your own operating system. You could put your last name on your own operating system and release it, okay? And then if you do that, but you have to keep it free. OS must be free to the public. Okay, and then organization, universities, and individual contribute to the code, okay? And then every so often new tools and securities added. Okay, and here's the thing, guys. Linux is also known as okay. It is also known as unbreakable Linux, okay? I have some doubts about that, but that's what the Linux is known as, unbreakable Linux. All right. And so what happens now? What is Linux based? So Linux based distribution. Okay, so we are not in Unix anymore. We are Linux based. And where are we getting all this Linux based from? So this is where you could create your own, and then the most popular one is Red Hat. So it's a US based. Now IBM is owning Red Hat, I think. Okay, so Red Hat has this product RHEL, CentOS, the one which are using right now, and all these are identical. So if you want to use Red Hat, the only problem is you don't get support. For CentOS, you don't get support here. Red Hat, if you want to get support, then you have to pay for the support. The operating system itself is free. And Oracle is there, and they call it OEL. And there is a German company called SUSE, and it's called SUSE Linux. And most of the time, SAP is the application that's running on it. Debian. So Debian is another distribution, okay? That is a Linux flavor. For distribution, the short is, it's called distro. If one of your colleagues says what distro you're using, that means what distribution. And Ubuntu is a South African. and mostly is used for desktop environment. Everybody with me, right? I'm not speaking in dead air. Everybody could hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. So Apple, what is Apple using? iOS, Mac OS, all Linux. Okay, and Google Google is also Linux. Android is all Linux. Okay, okay, guys. So you could see why they're making so much money. If somebody has Mac, go to terminal and then go to do ls here, and when you do ls into terminal you should see the same thing. You should see all this. If you go to cd and cd slash root, if you do ls, this is all going to be the same thing. And if you hack into ios or root the android, they all have the same base. All the files, all these files are going to be in there too. Okay, let me see if I have the Mac PC up here. Yeah, my Mac is down, so I'll talk about it later. Okay, within this, there is something called RPM. So RPM stands for Red Hat Package Manager. So RPM distros. So what happened is, in all these distributions, Red Hat became more popular, and now they are able to drive this industry here, the Linux operating system. So what's happening here is they came up with something called RPM based packages. We'll talk about it when we're going to do the system updates. So what's happening is, now what you could do is, some of the operating system out there, they're using the RPM based structure. So who is using RPM based? So Red Hat is using it. Oracle, SUSE, Debian. So in your resume, you could put down all this up until here. All the commands we are running, we are learning Red Hat, right? We are running CentOS, but the commands and everything, all these are same exact thing. They are same exact thing. Let me see if I have SUSE Linux here. Okay, I installed SUSE Linux here, so let's go in there. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm not worried about it now. It's gonna stop the class, but so when you're gonna put in a resume, you put down all this here, so you know all this, because they all are same exact things here. All right, guys. So now let's move on to the another topic here, complete topic. We go back to our command line, and we're gonna learn about the network interface card. Before that, everybody type host name on the screen. Host name. So here you see the host name. That means this is the name of the machine. So what you're gonna do is this is pretty generic name here. So we're gonna change the name of the machine here. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into this file vi/etc host name. And hit enter and delete everything in there and give the name here. Okay, I'm gonna give the name zmpt01.prod.zmpro okay, and then I'm gonna save and exit. So everybody with me?
It's still typing.
I didn't hear you. What?
It's still trying to type the change the name.
So how do you do that? You have to push DD, so it will delete that line. And then if you want to type it in there, push I as in India. You go into insert mode and then type the name in there as you see on my screen.
Okay, I did already.
Okay, great. Then to save and exit, push escape, then shift:*X as in Xerox.
Shift X. Done.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna restart the system here. Okay, so type INIT6 and hit enter. So the system in the background, this system which is you're connected to using PuTTY, it should restart. You will get this message is disconnected, but the system in the background will restart. So what happened is when it restart, it will take that name in. The name will take effect. Okay, so I'm going to restart the session. Root password. Okay, now you type host name there. Now the host name is there. Okay, this is the host. The way I type the host name, this is exactly how you're gonna see on at your work. Minus this part here. Okay, minus this part here, ZMPT. It could be something else. This part is usually the same, and the end usually it changes. If you're gonna work for Google or IBM, it will be .ibm.com or whatever. And if you notice, you will have a partial name showing up here too, ZMPT01. That way you could tell which system you logged into. Okay, everybody with me, right? So now we have the proper name here. Okay, so this name will be as unique as a name of an individual in the company. There won't be more than one same name for the servers. Okay, it will be unique and it will be this name. Any other server will not have same name. Okay, and then also we're gonna change the IP address. But before that, go ahead and type host name CTL and hit enter. All right, I'm gonna wait for everybody.
Done.
Okay, so when you type this command hostname CTL, it's giving you information about the system here. Okay, so this is the name, and this is what kind of uh, host is this. It will give you some indication. It's a chassis stages VM, right? That means virtual machine. If you had installed physically on the hardware itself, it will give you the name of the hardware like HP or IBM or whatever. I think I have installed on one physical hardware here. Over here, I installed it on a Dell box, but it's saying desktop. Normally, this part tells you HP, IBM, or whatever. Maybe it couldn't recognize because I installed this on a regular desktop here. So let me Google this ID and see what happens. Nothing happens. So I'm not worried about this, but most of the time it will give you an indication that if this is a physical hardware or not. Uh, virtualization. So we don't have virtualization, we have machine ID. CentOS Linux 8 core. Okay, yeah, I'm not worried about that here. So let's just concentrate what we have in front of us, okay? So it has some machine ID. These numbers mean something, but we don't need to worry about it. All these things mean something here. But only thing you have to worry about is virtualization KVM. An operating system, it gives you what operating system you're using. And the biggest thing is kernel. We'll talk about what kernel is a little later. But
Sure.
this is what the kernel software is. Okay, in fact, what I'll do is I'll talk about the kernel a little bit right now because it has so much information in there, right? So I'm looking at the kernel. I like this picture and okay, yeah, I like this picture here. Okay, so kernel. So what the kernel is it does is it's a little software that sits between the hardware and our operating system here. So I think this picture is good too. So kernel is a little application between. This is supposed to be OS. Uh, OS. So what a kernel is. It's a central component operating system and messages operations of computer and hardware.
Something
Okay.
between hardware and software.
Yeah, it's like a liaison between the two guys here. So I mean, computers are like complex things, right? Okay, so and I'm doing it for years now, but I'm not there. Like, you have to be a computer scientist and messing around with it all the time to know everything about it.
Right.
But for now, kernel is like a seed. Okay, it's a seed of seed part of the operating system here. Actually, I don't like this. This says operating system and operations. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. Okay, I like this better. Okay, so this is what the kernel is. It's just like a middleman, but it's very important. Without the kernel, it's not going to survive anything. Okay, so let's break down this kernel and see what it means. Okay, so the information I'm going to share you is not just limited to kernel. This is how what is limit. This is how the application is released. Okay, so this one here, 3. Okay, so I'm gonna do Control B. 10. I don't like. Okay, so look only to this part here. Okay, so 3, 10 point. Okay, and then 0, then 1062, and it says EL7, and x86 underscore 64, right? So the very first thing here is what number 3 represents. It's a major version. And then it says major release within the major version. Major release. Okay, and then this 0 stands for patch, if this is a patch or not. And then 1062, this stands for the Red Hat version. And then EL7 stands for the Enterprise Linux version. Okay, that means this version is the independent of Red Hat here. Okay, so what it's doing is Red Hat is taking this version and doing little changes and calling it their own. And then x86-64 stands for the 64-bit architecture. Okay, that's all there to it. And it's going to be the same thing for any other software here. So remember we installed tree, right? Earlier. So if you do yum provides tree, and over here you see the full package name, and it's the same thing here. You see 1 is a major version, 0.06 is major release, and this is not a patch, and 10 -10 stands for the Red Hat version. EL7 stands for the Linux version, and this is what it is. So going forward, you're going to have a package, you're going to look at it, and it has a boatload of information here. All this is important when you're going to troubleshoot it later on, okay? At this moment, I'll say don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to do is... Okay, I know it's a lot information here, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to remember all this. You just have to come back here and reference it. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, so now what we have is we have a good name for our system, and also before I forget, okay, this one is as major version 3 here, right? So if you look at the Red Hat 8 here, on this machine I have Red Hat 8 installed here because it's so new. I'm not teaching Red Hat 8 yet, and nobody else is using it as much. So if I type host name CTL, okay, look at it here. This kernel version is starting from 4 here, right? So after 3 is exhausted, they will change the number here. So major, if it's a major version, that means it's a different operating system. They went from Red Hat 7 to the Red Hat 8. And in Red Hat 8, there's already been 18 releases. So this is like a second last version for Red Hat 7. And only 11 major updates have been released here. So for Red Hat 8, they are already on to 18. It's been less than 2 years. So that tells me it's kind of sketchy here to go with Red Hat 8. Okay, so they have all this good information here. You see EL18? EL18 is the Linux version. So don't worry about this at this moment here, okay? So let's move forward. Okay, so how much time we have? 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So before I close, I'm going to show you how to set the static IP address for the system here, okay? In the environment, you don't like the name being changed and the IP address being changed for the system here, right? So if I do IPA, this IP address could change anytime. So we have 3 network cards, right? This is loopback. I'm not going to explain what that is. It's every system has it, and it's not being used. So we have 1, 2, 3, and all 3 of them has IP address. This one got IP address, this one has IP address, and this one has IP address. So what this 2 has the internal local intranet IP, and this one has a outside IP address, okay? I'll show you what all this means here a little later. if config mm. All right, this is confusing. Let's stick with IPA. Okay, so what we're gonna do is right now, as of this moment, all these things could change anytime. Okay, so we don't want it to be changing here. So we're gonna do is we're gonna we're gonna physically add the IP address to this box here. Okay, so actually I'm gonna go ahead and give something different. That way it will remembers that. So how am I gonna do that? So it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's do this. Clear the screen and go to this folder cd etc sysconfig network hyphen script. Okay, get in the habit of typing it partially and using a tab key. Do ls there. What happened? So we're gonna pick the first one in here. Okay, I'm gonna do vi. And by the way, if you just want to have like a functional functional ethernet adapter, you don't need much of this information. Okay, and static okay, so I go type ethernet and boot proto. Okay, and so for you to be able to have like a good working ethernet adapter with the IP address, this is all the information you need. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy this. uh, Give me 1 second here. Okay, guys. So this is this the information I have in this file. This is the essential. That's all you need. That's all you need for this to be a functional Ethernet adapter and to give you the IP address. Okay. All right. So I may have to break this up and then explain you what this means. I got 4 more minutes. Uh, so it says type Ethernet. What this means is this is connection. What kind of connection you have? Okay, and then it says boot proto DHCP. This stands for protocol. We're gonna worry about protocol later on. Okay. So they have two protocols here. DHCP is random, and we're gonna see static. Static is assigned. Okay, and this is the uh, this is this is the config file name. uh, this is actually a nickname, network interface card name, matches with file, config file. Okay, and the device is also the name here. This is nick device. Matches with config file. And then on boot, that means you want the system to automatically get the IP when it reboots, when it boots. And this thing, yeah, we want to have this most of the time, yes. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna save and exit. And then I'm gonna go into this one here, IFCFG ENP08. So VI, copy and paste, and go ahead and do the same treatment here. So delete unnecessary things. When you do DD, it deletes it for you, but be careful, don't delete the wrong one. To undelete it, push U on the keyboard, it will undelete it for you. So you should have 5 lines in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, escape, save and exit. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna end here, and we'll pick up where we stopped tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna upload the video. The document I'll probably upload tomorrow. If you do, you guys, anybody is watching this gonna be today or tomorrow? You know what, I'll upload the document also, no worries. Okay, so any questions you guys have, put it in the chat and somebody should answer it. If not, then I'll answer it. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna end here and we'll pick up tomorrow. You guys have a good day.